Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is a psychiatric, self-therapeutic, multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, and obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that we have set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you'd like a brief introduction, a brief summary into how we break down the Ahn Rho Project into domains of life, sub-series, analogies, and so on and so forth, you can check that out on the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years, straight up to January 2021 and beyond for the more updated versions. That being said, and of course, it will cover all the copyright-free music, the content live stream schedule, how we break the live streams into domains of life, sub-series, analogies, and so on and so forth. So it's all then. Let's just dive into the second segment today because we have so much to cover once again. It seems like the past 3 live streams, back to back, the past 3 days have just been, my goodness, maybe even 5 days have just been constant phase 2 items, segments 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So much photography, so much screenshots, so many things having to do with finance, relationships, recordings, photography, nutrition, volunteering, employment, business, so much. That's what you see on the screen. There's literally at least 60 photographs, 60 screenshots on the screen right now. I'm going to try to breeze through as much as I can, but it's a lot to get through. And so 2 things. First of all, of course, you can skip ahead if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, whatever, or not, as a VOD, video on demand. Of course, you can skip the introduction every time by about 2 minutes, and then you'll dive right into the content. Second thing to mention, of course, this is a Solve 7.0 override system override version 7.0, meaning that is a rule to break all other rules, a system principle that frees myself from the structure, the rigidity of the system, so that I can just focus on what's most important, what is the priority and most urgently needs to get done, so that I can practically achieve the goals. All that redundancy aside, let's just dive right into content. Take a look at it on screen. That what you see is what you get. So we have a lot of things. Like I said, I'm just gonna start maximizing and showcasing of these. Like I said, lots of stuff having to do with volunteering, administrative stuff, business. So what you see here is like a provincial health and safety, workplace health and safety course. I had to take that for one of the volunteering gigs at the long-term seniors home, long-term care residence seniors home. Sorry, there's something wrong inside my throat right now. I feel like there's just too much to get through. Alright, gotta chill, gotta relax a little bit. Left hand side panel, very bottom right, you see also there's like a drive for something else. That's me for my brother. And let me just kind of sort out my hair here for a second. Can't even see myself. So it's like a lot of coursework, a lot of stuff here. But also top right, let's expand on that. Again, more continuations of courses. It feels disgusting. It's like something's on my sinus. All right. Much better. So we have also the quesadilla, as well as a poutine. That's coming from my brother. So we have some stuff to talk about there too. You can see there's some affiliations again with the course. This one has to do with workplace safety once again, like I said. And then there was also one having to do with another course, which we're going to showcase in this collage, having to do with Ontario Human Rights Commission, having to do with Accessibility and Disabilities Act. So, probably not the most exciting topic, because obviously this is beaten to a dead horse in today's political atmosphere. But yes, disabilities, yes, support, yes, they're trying to promote that whole equality bullshit nonsense. But it had some validity before it became over politicized, and then suddenly became this kind of, I hate to say it, but it really is kind of like SJW kind of thing. Before it had validity, now it's just too overwhelming. It's constantly people playing the victim mentality card. However, the act itself seems to be well reasoned once I learned more about it, so it's okay. But anyways, there's a course on that, and it was necessary for volunteering, so I couldn't really escape that. So we have to talk about that. And this is a business convention. I actually showed a couple screenshots of that as well. So in here, business convention having to do with research and nutrition. So in the last kind of collage here, we have again coursework. So okay, let's just dive right into it. I'm just gonna run straight through all of these screenshots here, and we're gonna comment briefly on them one by one. Let's start at the very bottom. This is really a continuation, I should mention, of the previous day. So okay, here we have the survey for one of the, it's like a video I had to watch, having to do with the volunteer survey. Next to that, we have the next photograph seems to be of a drive that I had to pass over to my brother so that he could upload almost like 50 gigs of his video editing stuff. So he's using it right now. That's great. It is recommended that you take off any rings or watches. They can harbor pathogens and may cause gloves to rip or tear. So this one has to do with donning and doffing gloves. So in the workplace and volunteering, just tutorial. Same thing here, how to hand wash, right? Very basic stuff. But needless to say, that's part of the training. That's a video on how to take off gloves, how to wash your hands. Health and safety awareness and 4 steps. This has to do with the coursework. Like I said, that has to do with working and even volunteering apparently now, health and safety in the workplace. So learning about the hazards and so on and so forth. This one is just the introductory, saying that course has been loaded. Next has this is a feedback survey. This is a feedback survey. We're jumping over to volunteering. The feedback survey that we got from the orientation session. So the volunteer coordinator wanted us to get a survey, fill out a survey. Next here we have also the course content has been loaded once again. Just kind of continuation of that Workplace Safety Act and doing that course. Here's the website where I had to click on, and of course it would lead me to the web page for the certificate. And there's an updated workbook with it. This one I have an older version, but I can see that there's a newer version real shortly. Maybe I'll show it. There's the footer. It talks about, you can see how it's actually from the provincial legislation, so the commission agency. And there were 5 parts, 1, 2, 3 to 5 of this ridiculous workplace safety thing that took almost an hour to get through. Certificate version, I had to pick this one because obviously I want certificate, some sort of proof if I had to upload it, and in fact I did. I had to upload it to the volunteer organization. Working together, the code of conduct. So this is kind of like table content, stuff like that. But that one has to do with rights, like human rights and stuff like that. So that's the whole accessibility thing. Getting started, watch 5 short videos. That's a lie. It's not 5 short videos. It was way too long. Working together with the code AODA. So that is actually, yes, that is once again the provincial act for disabilities and accessibility and so on and so forth. Now we jump over to, very shortly, just a little brief thing on Usana here. So this is the business that I'm running on the side, research nutrition. On top right hand side, you see my fingers pointing out right now is an invoice. I'm not expanding that obviously for privacy reasons. Get rid of that now. Just want to say that scan that invoice and stash it away. Now next to it we have the Usana Live convention for Europe and North America. So it's starting today, I believe, and I did pay for that, so I have to get tuned in with that when I get off work, or most likely over the weekend instead. Upload the health and safety wellness training certificate. That's it. Upload also the mandatory orientation checklist and so on and so forth. That's me again uploading certificates as well as the checklist I had to fill out from my volunteer coordinator. Once again, mandatory training. This is all stuff that I had to do. It was ridiculous. It took almost like 5 hours. Mandatory training checklist, training 1, 2, and 3. Differences between in-person volunteers and obviously people who are virtual or calling. You don't have to see the people in person, so obviously COVID-19 restrictions like wearing a mask, precautions, washing hands, have to update on that. Obtaining Part B, out-of-country travel. Here's some questions from COVID-19 screening that I had to learn about. So there's a video on that as well. In addition to the Disabilities Act, in addition to the workplace safety, there's also a COVID-19 screener that I had to, a video that I had to watch. And so here's some questions here, like difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, sore throat, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then labor, we're jumping back onto workplace safety. Anytime you see the green here, it's back to workplace safety. So get certified and stuff like that before it began. This is back to the survey. Once again, if you receive COVID-19 vaccination, 24 hours, 48 hours, then if you have any symptoms, most likely from the vaccination, not from getting sick from COVID. Get more help. Here's more resources. This is nearing the end of the course. You can see right here all the different affiliations like Sick Kids Hospital, WSIB, meaning Workplace Safety Insurance Board, Autoliv, all these kind of sponsors for, once again, health place safety. And they had a lot of anecdotes on people who had died in that training, specifically from workplace injuries. One of those testimonials, she actually lost her son. It was quite sad, actually. The right to participate in health and safety. So they really delivered the message quite clear. Take care of yourself. OSA, Ontario Health and Safety Act, right to participate and also to refuse work it is deemed unsafe. And they go through all the specifics about that, what to look for, what to ask. Make sure you know what to ask. Sometimes you don't even know as a new employee what questions to ask and who you can ask to. Here are sometimes the goals and objectives that each course tries to bring you through, what you should look forward to understanding by the end of the video, or course information, the Ministry of Labor. So this is just kind of running through what that sort of part of the government does. Health and Safety Ontario, infrastructure, public health services. So you can see again more resources, hotlines, stuff like that, crisis lines. And interestingly here, I found this is like the quizzing you. So they always have like this after every 4 of the chapters, each of the 4 chapters has their own kind of little quiz. Even as they're going alongside, they have quizzes. So once again, now we'll move on to food now suddenly, because that just happened to be what's next. And we have this poutine and quesadilla type stuff. So it's a poutine with cheese and gravy. It looks great on the right hand side, and then left hand side, sorry. And then I have the quesadilla, this chicken quesadilla with like again cheddar cheese and stuff like that. On the top is like sour cream on the right, and that salsa, spicy salsa from my brother. So just class 4 item. Thank you very much. It was great, fantastic. Back on track to the courses though. Step 2, getting to know about the hazards, right? Really bogging down on that WMIS stuff. You can see all the symbols. Never remove any protective guards. That kind of straightforward. It's a lot of this common sense. This is what really driving me nuts. Trying to take a course like fucking took an hour, but it's all common sense. But you need to know about your hazards, obviously, and to go and tell on some jobs something can kill you. But they're really trying to hit it home, and it really makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, this is all common sense stuff. Getting the know, right? Step 2. We're kind of working backwards here. Here's a script. Here's a script from one of the testimonies. So you can see Kevin Bonas was one of the testimonies on there. It's like, I was working in the industrial mill, right, and go down, you can see that he was trapped in a machine for an hour and a half. Rescuers got me out and then he was amputated, legs down. So it was very tragic, and definitely something that it really delivered the message. Congratulations, successfully completed the quiz, and then move on to the next phase. Here's another testimonial. Here's a man who broke his legs halfway up to the leg and actually shattered them. It seemed like a Japanese name, but he's not Japanese. Anyways, the point is that it was quite again, a lot of these just sad stories. At the conclusion of the section, you'll be able to describe why you're important to health and safety. They separate into supervisors, employees, and workers, and employers and workers. So it's kind of like each role has their own responsibility, which I can get on board with that, obviously. And here's the introduction at the beginning, right? Occupational Health and Safety Act. And of course, the new worker has, like 3-4 times as likely to get injured. And something about football fields, like 5, enough to fill 12 football fields every single year of workplace injuries is crazy. Keyboards here, there's instructions you can press the F keys to move forward, left, right keys to move back, space, tab, all the instructions like that. And content 4 steps. The quizzes, right? Quizzing section. And now we're moving to finally, the quiz itself. Cooperate with other parties, respect the dignity of. Yeah, this is having to do with the Ontario Disability Act right here. Human rights system. Right now you can see the Human Commission, the Tribunal, having to do with rights, but also once again, one of these are for the legal system proceedings, one is for resources, one is the guidelines. Equal opportunities outcomes requires different treatment. This one I'm not so sure if I agree, but let's say the classic mantra is what's fair is not equal. It's not necessarily equal. Now this one's I'm more on board with equal opportunity, but once again, it's very questionable. A lot of people kind of disagree with this thing here. They've gone too far, and I kind of feel like they have gone a little bit too far. Needless to say, ensure that people with disabilities are free from discrimination when they work. So there's a quiz right now. You can see all that kind of stuff, and take a quiz. Right, I have literally 30 seconds left. Don't know if I can get through it all. And then Ontario Human Rights Code, accessibility for Ontario with Disabilities Act. Once again, you can see the course there. Service standard, several acts, legislations, and so on and so forth right here. And you can see it's all divided into support, communications, so on and so forth. So lastly, but not least, we have like 5 seconds. So I'm going to say that we'll cover this tomorrow morning because we're done here. All this kind of collage, we have to continue this tomorrow morning. Yeah, so see you then. So my God.